just go over economics 101. As I said, all these
All right, you
chasing the same or
guys.
a lesser amount of goods.
Let me just
Speaking
turn
of a
this
lesser
off.
amount of goods, we found out that U.S.
Trying to do too many things at the same time. Good morning. I just want to give you a quick update on GTII and CRTD. Yesterday I did a much longer one. I think it ended up at 40 minutes, which I had hoped for 20 minutes. This one I want to keep short and just emphasize a few things. Number one, Created has sent out a proxy, and it's for the annual meeting here. And then this is the way you can scan this, or you can call in, and that's my control number, but I hope no one abuses that, because I intend to and it doesn't say here how many shares I have, but here's the agenda. Elect Jeremy Frommer, approve articles of incorporations, and blah, blah, blah. There is one item that everyone asks me about, is why did they increase the number of shares to 1.5 billion? I think that's in the normal process of trying to fight back, trying to acquire, be acquired, etc. It does not mean that Jeremy Frommer is going to do what the CEO of, let me just look it up, because I called him the Greek, and I've got some answers back that who's the Greek. Sometimes I forget that people out there aren't as, into each of these names. The COSM out of Chicago, Illinois, basically went from 6 cents to 85 cents. They got a lot of excitement going, and they were able to raise into that rally close to $50 million in an offering. They made a deal with the shorts, whether you want to say they did it intentionally or not. The shorts crushed the stock. Retail came in and rallied COSM stock, and the company decided it was in the company's best interest to take advantage of that. They did a reverse split. They made, I think, a lot of projections. I don't know what happened just now. Sorry about that. I'm going to leave that in place because I want to get this done quickly. So they left a lot of they said a lot of things which I think led people to believe that they weren't going to sell out to the shorts. The stock could go to 20 or much higher. There could be a short squeeze, and the head of it is a Greek guy, Gregorius Siakis, and that's what I meant when I said the Greek. In the case of CRTD, there's the annual meeting. The 1.5 billion shares is not out there to kneecap you. It's out there to make this a successful company. Now, I want to show you the Lind Partners. Here's their team. Jeffrey Easton, 15 years of experience in fund management. But the guy that the guy that the guy that ran this, well, okay, I guess I'm not going to be able to show you. It's a guy named Philip Levassier, and I'll go directly to him if I can make it happen. There it is, Philip Valliere, and 25 years of asset management, investment banking. He was at Springtree Global Investors, which preceded Lind. Maybe that's how he learned to do naked short selling, which is illegal. 2003 to 2009. It may be where he learned to do toxic convertible notes. He was a vice president at a New York hedge fund, where almost certainly he learned how to criminally issue shares short. In my judgment, this is all in my judgment and best research, and in my opinion, 2.2 billion in AUM, assets under management at its peak, oil and gas, and blah blah blah. Anyway, this is your Lind Partners. If you have a minute, you don't need to add sugar to your coffee. At Lind Partners, we understand the challenges faced by management teams of growing companies. By upholding our mission to be a responsible investor and a reliable financial partner, we have built a reputation as a leading provider of growth capital to the small and mid-cap sector. Well, why don't you talk to Finger, where FNGR, where Finger has actually offered to pay back in full, with all the penalties, with the premiums, that what they borrowed from Lind Partners, and Lind Partners isn't taking it back. Why? Because the Lind Partners and their affiliates shorted over 100 million shares of Finger that do not exist. 100 million, Gary Gensler. I know your succour comes from Goldman Sachs, and Goldman makes 75% of their prime brokerage income from the lending of shares as a result of fraudulent sales of shares. This is a cancer that's going to kill the entire United States financial systems. But go ahead, Gary Gensler, worry about Kim Kardashian. Anyway, the Lind Partners won't take the money from Finger. Well, guess what? The Lind Partners also was the toxic lender to CRTD. And Jeremy Frommer is not going to let them get away with it. Guess what the situation is with CRTD? 30 million shares outstanding. 30 million shares outstanding. 350 million fake, created out of thin air, shares shorted, many because of the Lind Partner transaction, in my judgment. Now listen to this crap that they write. By upholding our mission to be a responsible investor and a reliable financial partner, we have built a reputation as a leading provider of growth capital. The Lind Partners is an institutional fund manager and a leading provider of growth capital to small and mid-cap companies publicly traded in the United States, Canada, Australia, and the United Kingdom. Your grade school child could write a better introduction. This is just pablum put up here to soothe CEOs as they knowingly, it's something in their guts telling them they shouldn't sign this deal. This is just to assuage them. Lind targets high growth sectors so that we can destroy the company. Like Finger, high growth, three massive growth areas. And what did the Lind Partners do? Drive it from $9 to 60 cents and below. And now they're trying to do it again. What did they do to create it? A high growth company. This is all BS. Lind targets high growth sectors: technology, biotech, clean tech, mining, and oil and gas. Woe be to any company that signs up through Benchmark Capital and The Lynn Partners. Founded in 2011, right after the financial crash, money became easy, and something in the rules, because a lot of these companies started around then, became really easy to trap CEOs and then to destroy corporate values and moving capital over, entire market caps over to their side of the table. Multifaceted investment strategy. 70 direct investments largely destroyed most of those companies, I'm sure. All right, let's get off of them. Now let's go to GTII. This is the group, Power Up Lending, that destroyed GTII. I don't want to spend a lot of time about it, but let's see. There's the guy, Carlos Mayo. Boy, what a hardworking guy. And the intelligence he exudes, staring at the screen. And in the back, there's a mirror of him again, and in the back, a mirror of him again. What a busy organization. Since the crisis of 2008, it's been increasingly tough for small businesses to secure loans. So come into us. Every single client we lend to, we destroy. All right, why do I focus on both of those? Global Tech Industries Group, and created on December 27th, announced that they're beginning formal merger discussions. Well, if you see this, vote by January 8th. The meeting is January 9th for created, 2 p.m. 2 p.m. Vote in person. So, and, you know, it's interesting, just to show how active Created is. If you choose to vote these shares in person at the meeting, you must request a legal proxy. All right, that wasn't the highlight I wanted to read to you. You have a right to vote on the proposals being presented at the annual meeting. Anyway, I can't find it quickly, but the point is they're going to allow you to vote your shares, even though there's fraudulent shares out in the system which might actually vote your shares. So anyway, on December 27th, GTII CRTD announced that they have begun discussions, merger, any number of ways. It could be a buyout. One company could buy the other. Kramer says, I believe we have a compelling opportunity to combine these two companies. Reichman said, bold move, creating value for shareholders. Okay. Here's the annual meeting for Created, for, oh, sorry. That's useless marketing. I apologize for that. All right, here's the short report on GTII, which is down today. 72% yesterday shorted. 72%. This is not a sign. That can't be the right one. That's not the right one. I apologize. What is that one? PLPL. Look at that volume. Every single over-the-counter stock is shorted. Look at that, 72%. I didn't mean to bring that one up. I don't know why it showed up. I apologize. So GTII. Yesterday it was only 40%, but look at that. 500,000 shares shorted. Most of those trades were washed. There was one 250,000 cross, or at least it was shown, and then it all traded quickly. It's just all manipulated. The volume's fake, the prices are fake, price discovery's fake. It's all designed to get you nervous about what you're going to do with your stock. And I want to try to tell you, yes, it's too bad. The stock's under $1, but that's an opportunity to buy it if you believe in the short squeeze. I think even if you believe in the combination of the two companies, it's an opportunity to buy it. All right. This here is all about $13 million by memory that I added up yesterday. 13 million shares, naked short. All right, let's just quickly look at GTII. I'm sorry, the coffee went down the wrong way. Look at these. Okay, Paulie's on the bid. That's actually a pretty good sign for you guys. All the rest of these are criminals. Look at ETRF, 2,900 at 9,499, jumping in front of STI. They just want to show you that there's what, 3, 4, 5, 8, 10, 11. They want to make you nervous there's a lot for sale. That's called spoofing. It's all illegal. But you better check on Kim Kardashian's tush, Gary Gensler. All right, the short interest is not what I wanted to show you. Trade data. Okay, not much to see there. Look at how little the volumes are. But up here you'll see the volume today at I'm having a hard time following. There, 500,000 volume. They all did it in these big crosses and these big prearranged trades. It's all illegal. So it's designed to get you worried, and which you probably are. But if you don't believe there's going to be a short squeeze, if you don't believe in the commitment of these two management teams, whether they combine the companies, there's a buyout, or they go separately, to fight Power Up Lending, Kurt Kramer, and to fight Philip Valliere at Thielen Partners, then it's not the right stock for you, because it is a battle. But the only thing the shorts know how to do is sell more shares, sell more shares, sell more shares. And that's why the stock's down 12 cents today. But remember, you've got an annual meeting coming Monday. You've got an announced combination of the firms. What can they do quickly? I have no idea. I'm sure there's audits involved and all sorts of things like that. But the investors and the management teams are acting as quickly on your behalf as they can. All right, now let's just quickly look at these stock charts. This is the shorts. This is the shorts in GTII trying to convince you that this is going to go back down to 50 cents or spike below 50 cents. These are criminal shorts doing criminal things. Now, you'll notice the volume is low. They're not covering. So what's the thesis in a short squeeze? You've got, in this case, Kurt Kramer, the trap short, shorted 50 million shares. I'm using round numbers, and nobody knows the exact numbers. You can argue and quibble if you want, but your numbers are going to be better. 50 million shares naked short before, during, and shortly after the tenancy of his toxic convertible note that is his modus operandi with all the companies he kills. 50 million shares. Now, put in the back of your head that a Wall Street insider did an analysis of the existing short position prior to that note, when the company was called Trade-Torn Treetop Industries or something. He came up with a number of 350 million. And this is a credible guy. I caution you, I never spoke to the guy, but I heard it third hand, and I trust my source of information. But let's just ignore that 350. He said 350 million shares over a year ago, naked short. Gary Gensler wants to root out fraud wherever it exists, and he's going to be tireless in it, as long as it involves looking at Kim Kardashian's latest video. I mean, what happened to the guy? What happened to him? All right, 50 million, sort of around February, okay, to start with. We're ignoring the 350. It's been essentially 2 years since then. That's 24 months at 10 million a month on average. That's 240 million. You add 50 to 240, you get to 290. Now, I highlight to you that where you see the red, just before the red crossing the 50-day, the blue line, and just afterward, when we got shaken out of our GTII position because COSM looked like a better deal, right around that time frame for about 40 days, and I'm doing this by memory. I did a video on it, and you can go look it up. Maybe you can't. Maybe I should try to reconstruct it. Maybe I'll do that. But there was something like 85 million shares naked shorted by Kramer and his minions. Just out of thin air, shares that don't exist, never will exist. You'd want to talk about fraud? Let me tell you all manner of the fraud. Wire fraud, securities laws violations, manipulating the stock prices. Securities fraud, I guess I already said, but under the act and also in all the intrastate, all the blue sky laws in each state that he's operating, crossing state lines. But this didn't scare little Bill, did it? Doesn't concern Gary Gensler. Well, anyway, if you add 50 million to 240 million, you get 290. And if you take into account that they sold almost 90 million in the span of about 45 days or so, right as they were shaking us out, I think you can say that the Kramers and then these other jackals and hyenas that joined in to make a quick buck, but haven't covered clearly. I'll show you that in a second. The short position in GTI has only gotten worse. It's up in the range of CRTD's, 300 million. CRTD's short position under good authority is 350 million, and that's an old number. In the case of CRTD, there's 30 million shares outstanding, much less in the float. In the case of GTII, you can argue about the size of the float, but remember that the CEO, David Reichman, just recently purchased shares, which locks up his entire position. And most of what you see out there on Yahoo and et cetera are restricted shares. So I would guess that the float, the really tradable float is 25 to 35 million in GTII. You can quibble with it, but it's 300 million shares that need to be covered. And in the case of let's look at CRTD. Well, let me quickly show you on this chart. When they drove this down, all the way down to 50 cents in the middle of the December, they started covering. Why? They're worried about 1-800 law firm. And the rumors are the audit's already completed. What does that set up? That sets up 100 million in past revenue backlog and 30 million in income in a better year coming, and it's a law firm. That could be announced at any point. Like today, it could be announced. Next week. It's all dependent on an auditor whose third party has nothing to do with CRTD. With GTII. The auditor was hired by Wildfire. So when a guy called in to GTII, we're not getting enough information, let's go over to COSM. I think he missed his mark. It is in process. There's been no problems with it. The deal is agreed. It's just waiting for this final physical. It could come at any time. The shorts won't. That's the Kramer's modus operandi. Destroy the companies that borrow money from them. They're not going to be able to destroy it. It's not going to stay under $1. They won't stay under $1. And it won't be driven down either. Well, anyway, that's one. Then it sets up upstream. Two things about upstream, and I'm not going to show you the news, but one is a dual listing Second thing is they can issue a digital coupon for discounted legal fees that the corrupt Gary Gensler system cannot stuff your accounts. It'll go outside of Gary Gensler's shady system. And it forces a run on real shares. Okay. Then you've got coming Monday, the CRTD annual meeting. Do you think that they're going to make some sort of announcement prior to that, maybe, so they can vote on it? I guess my little system here is not perfect. All right, so now let's go to CRTD. No, TD. Let's just quickly look at this. This is trading better, but they're having a hard time driving it down because they're after him. But look at how, as the blue line has crossed the red, the 50 days crossed the 200-day. This is great news in terms of bullish action. And the volume when they sell it off, except I guess you could say 3 days ago they gave it their best effort. The volume is low, and all of a sudden, I don't know what all these hammers and all these things mean, but that is a really strong action yesterday and today. And if it gets over that 76 level, you're quickly in the 170, 190 range. All right, I wanted to be quick. And what else did I want to tell you? That's basically it. So I want to tell you, there's an announced merger or some sort of combo which created has to vote on something, I don't know what, at their annual meeting Monday, and you're invited. That's this coming Monday. CRTD has a rumored 350 million illegal counterfeit share short position, spearheaded by the Lind Partners. Yeah. GTII has probably a 300 million illegal counterfeit share. How do they ever cover it? Naked short position, spearheaded by Kramer and Power Up Lending. They're going to merge. CRTD is issuing its OD collection via upstream, but also on the OTC market. So dual listing as a distribution to catch out. What you're trying to do is get the system trapped so they have to deliver all real shares at one time. And all the counterfeit shares in the world are not going to rescue them. That's what is these two management teams are trying to do. Now, I know because the shorts just come in like monkeys and just hit one button all day, sell, 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 and they taunt you. And you'd say, well, where is it coming? What's happening? Why is it taking so long? Obviously, the price is going down. They must be right. No, they're not right. They're trapped. They're desperate. They're in trouble. And let me give you numbers. GTII, if the law firm gets approved, what's it worth? $1, $2, $3 a share without ever going down again? That's tough on the shorts. Cost to carry and margin calls themselves. What if Trento mining deal comes in and it's $1 trillion? I don't know if it's going to be $1 trillion. I'd say it would be 20, 30 billion. Maybe it's 10 billion. Maybe they issue, I don't know how many shares. Maybe their outstanding shares become 1 billion. That's $10 a share. How do the short, without being able to drive it back down? I'm making those numbers up. I'm just trying to tell you the what's coming to the shorts is trouble. Trouble with a capital T. That's in GTII. CRTD is going to become two companies with a dynamic CEO that's had the courage to speak right into the belly of the beast. And then you get the merging. You've got West Christian investigating fraudulent shares in the selling in the case of Kramer et al. And you've gotten he's checking on Philip Valliere as well. You've got Sharontel doing the due diligence and doing the discovery that you no longer have to go into court to get. These guys are in trouble. They don't want to go to prison. Don't hold strong. Now, I caution. If this has made you sick to your stomach, I think you're going to have an opportunity in both stocks to get out at $3, $4, $5. Take some or all of your money off the table and move on. You've been in it now for 2 months. That's a long, painful time, and it shows you how corrupt the system is. I've been in these plays for over 2 years, Finger 4 or 5 years. So if you don't have stomach for the fight, take the next rally as an opportunity to get out. And no one's judging you. I'm not judging you. There's stocks like I would suggest it has the same shorting issues, WULF. I've given you a couple of names, which I'll leave off of this video, that I think could give you nice returns. There's plays in the resource sector, which I intend to give you some names on. And there's the bigger technology plays. The bigger companies, they're all down. And if you want to play contrarian, everyone's calling for a down market this year. Well, maybe it's a good time to place other investments. You'll have a chance, I think, in both of these stocks in the near term. Led, I think, first by GTII, but CRTD coming right behind and then merging maybe, or one buys the other, who knows? And then it's all led. This is all in the news. Led by Jeremy Frommer. I think you've got an exciting Q1 ahead of you. So please do not falter or be afraid. You see the volatilities. I can't protect you from those, and I can't give you personal financial advice. But these are the Kramer discounts again in GTII, and I think CRTD continues to have the Philip Valliere discount. So I'll leave it at that. Hopefully I'll come on this afternoon live. Cheers.